Okay. I think we're live now. So, welcome everyone. I am Jennifer Hughes and I am here with my friend Pari, and we are both together uh, Success Principles trainers. So by the book, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. So we are both certified to teach these principles to other people, and we love to do it, right, Pari?
We do indeed.
We do. And so the principle we're talking about today is you get what you focus on, and it's kind of about money. So that's what we're going to talk about. And this is kind of part of, we've already done one interview about money, and we're going to be doing all the money principles from the success principles together. So this is kind of a money series part 2.
I'm your money
So
woman. I love it.
that's right. That's right. Pari's my money woman. So, so every week we're going to be coming back and doing the next principle about money. So we invite you to come back tentatively every Thursday, but at least, once every week or once every other week or something, we're going to get it done. And we'll be back here with a money principle. So we invite you to come back and be sure to put in your comments, if you have any questions, if you want us to answer. And so let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for being here today, Pari.
Such a pleasure. I always love speaking with you, and especially about the subject of money. Our favorite subject, right?
Your favorite subject. So what I just said was, I just said, who doesn't love to talk about money? And the real answer is nobody. Like it's very few people that like to talk about money. And I would say the people that like to talk about it are the ones who have it.
Yes, that's exactly
it. But even
it.
sometimes then they don't want to,
No, but I think that's exactly it, is when you are comfortable with the subject of money, when you invite money into your life, you experience it. And if you do have any blocks around money, and we talked about this in the last interview, so I'll let people go look at that one for more in-depth knowledge in this principle. But whatever you're going to be focused on, so if you're focused on money is not good, or money's evil, or money, it means I'm selfish, then you block money. And so you have to love money in order to manifest money.
Yeah, I heard of a guy who started a seminar who got up and he just he brought out a big wad of cash and he just started kissing it, just like I love money. I just really love money. And the people are sitting there like, what is going on here? This guy is not spiritual. This guy is like, what did I come down here for? Why did I pay for this? And then he said, now, a lot of you have probably just said, this guy's not even spiritual. This guy's like crazy. Why did I come here? And he said, but if I would have brought my 4-year-old grandson out here and kissed him and said, I love my grandson so much, nobody would have thought anything about it. So, money's just a thing, right? Like we have control over things, and money's just a thing. So people are people love their cars, like people love their musical instrument, like people have things that they love, and that's considered okay. So why isn't it okay to have money be that thing?
Yeah, and I think that's a great point to bring up, is because you love your instrument or because you love your car, you invited that into your life, and so you love it and you experience it and you enjoy it. And it's the same thing. It's all energy at the end of the day. Money is energy. And so you get what you deserve. And, usually we use that term in a not so positive way. You get what you deserve, but it's the truth. You get what you think you deserve. Yeah. And if you think you deserve this fantastic car, this amazing, instrument, lots and lots of money, so that you can do this great thing with it, then you get it. So it really is about what you believe you deserve, and then you attract it. There's a great saying that your net worth can never exceed your self-worth.
I love that.
Is that amazing?
Yeah. So so people might be like their mind's blown right now with thinking, okay, so I only have the money that I deserve. So
That you believe you deserve,
that you
not the
believe,
world, not at anybody else,
exactly.
what you believe you deserve.
That's an interesting
You
point.
decide. That is the point of this success principle. What you get what you focus on, you decide what you want. When you decide you want to have this amount of money from the deepest place of your heart, you decide you want to be wealthy, then resources, ideas, people just come your way to manifest that into your life. And you know, it sounds like it's some kind of philosophy we're talking about, but Einstein has this wonderful quote that, you know, basically if you match the reality you want, you get onto that frequency of the reality you want, you can't help but get that reality into your life. And then he says, it's not philosophy, it's physics. I love that. The greatest scientist telling us that.
Right. Well, I mean, we see it in nature, right? You plant a seed and then you get that plant, you know, like whatever the seed, if it's a, you know, apple tree, then it grows, and then it produces apples for you. So
exactly.
if you don't
And
plant
think
that
about
seed
it from
and intend to have all those apples, you won't ever get them. You have to do that first.
You have to do that piece, but also just, I love that analogy, because think about the gardener who put that seed of the apple in there. When he's putting the seed, he has an expectation, a belief that it'll grow into the plant that the seed he's chosen. So there is no doubt that this will become an apple tree, let's just say, for example. And it's that belief of I have planted and so I will reap, that actually manifests that happening over and over again. People ask, is the law of attraction working for me now? Is it working for me now? It's always working. Whatever you're focused on, whatever you're giving your attention to, whatever you're believing in, you are manifesting in your life. And so we can use that to our advantage, and put our focus on what we do want, and manifest more of that.
That
And that
reminds me
is
of a story.
also true with money. It's always true with money.
Yes. Well, it reminds me of a story I heard from Tony Robbins. It was when he was kind of just starting out, and he was carrying, he had two $100 bills he was carrying around to remind him to focus on abundance, right? And he came across this man who was drunk in the street, you know, and he was just like, he was like, hey man, do you have a quarter? You know, and Tony's like, a quarter? He's like, yeah, man, a quarter changed my life, man. I need a quarter, you know? And so Tony's like, are you sure you only want a quarter? He's like, yeah, quarter, man, changed my life. So he pulls out his wallet, lets him see those two crisp $100 bills, and he hands him a quarter. He says, like, I can't remember what he said after that, but like he could have asked for more. He said, are you sure you don't want to ask for more? Are you sure a quarter's all you want? And sometimes it's like that in life. Like whatever you ask for, whatever you expect to come to you is what comes.
Exactly. I'll say it again. Your net worth can never exceed your self-worth. You have to believe you deserve it, and then you will attract it in your life. And unless you do that piece, you can't attract it. So that's the first step. Is there's two pieces with money and attracting money. One is your money IQ, if you want to call it that, you know, your financial acumen, understanding your money, knowing where your money is, how much debt are you in, you know, what's your plan to get out of it, what's your retirement plan, all of those things. But it's also money EQ. You know, what is your money mindset? How much money are you inviting into your life? Bob Proctor once said, money goes where it's invited and stays where it's welcome. And I love that.
Yes, I love that. Well, and I love that money IQ and money EQ. I think that's really, you have to look at it both ways.
You have to. And that's exactly actually what this principle is about, is that you have to understand your money and then decide how much you want. So a lot of, you know, so what you want right now in your current life circumstances and what you want in the future. And that is also something you decide now. Like where you are at now is based on what you decided, you know, in the past, and therefore you have your money results right now. And if you want different money results, then you have to plan that now, and then you'll get those. You have to plant that seed, like you said, and then you'll get those results. And so a huge piece of manifesting is not just having a vision board and looking at it and saying, you know, one day, but it's more about, and what are the steps you are taking? So determining your net worth, you know, how much money do I have? Where am I at? And a lot of people have a serious fear around knowing those numbers and understanding where they're at. So getting comfortable, I think like loving money is not only about like getting more money, it's about like being comfortable with money. And so you have to know your numbers, know your, you know what your net worth is, you know, become aware of where you're spending your money. How do I spend my money? And is it in alignment with how I want to spend my money, with my vision for my life? You know, if you're in debt, getting financially literate around it, or if you're wanting to invest and expand your money, learning about it.
Right. Because you can't really solve your problem if you don't actually know what the problem is.
Right. And also like, and also not only your problems, but also like what, you know, if you decide what you want your retirement to be. So you say, oh, I want to live in Florida in this, you know, in this kind of a home by the water, da, 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 da. What does that mean? What does that cost? And for you to be able to have that when you're not earning money anymore, what does it mean now that you need to be doing now? How much you need to be saving up? How much you need to be earning in your, you know, your retirement account? And really just being comfortable figuring out those numbers and going after them. You know, one of the workshops I offer is money management, and it's basically called Manifest Your Abundance. And it's basically that money IQ EQ thing, you know. Yes, you have to know your IQ numbers and, you know, where you want to be, but then you also have to have that welcoming stance towards bringing that into your life.
Yeah. And so for people who don't, who don't have that, how would you say they could start to, I think you kind of addressed it when you talked about, you know, if you just know about your money, first of all, then it kind of brings it a little more into the comfort zone. Or if it makes you uncomfortable, like, look, I'm spending more than I'm earning, or something like that. Or I really, you know, I need more to meet my needs or something. You know, that does seem to be the first step. But how do you become comfortable with money and welcome it in and let it, you know, welcome it to stay?
Yeah. I mean, yes, I began to start sharing that is the, you know, the first, well, it's a two-pronged approach. You want to be doing things together. One is understanding your money, and the other is inviting it in and having that stance of, I want this in my life. And so you open you first have to make that declaration. This is what my life's going to be. This is what I want. And then the want has two pieces of it. One is your mindset, and the other piece of it is practical. You know, how much money does that mean? What does that, you know, like putting a price tag to everything on your vision board, you know, and saying, okay, so this is what I need to be saving up, or this is what I need right now to be, you know, this is where I need to put my money so that I can manifest this car or this instrument, instead of putting it in this thing, which I didn't even realize I was putting my money in, because, you know, a lot of people don't know where they're spending their money. So I'm going to use the B word, which a lot of people don't like, which is called budget.
Yeah.
But that's a huge asset for you, is to have a budget. You know, just to know where does your money come in from.
It's
Where
kind of like the money word for diet.
but it has
On a
that
diet.
it has, well, actually, I wanted to address that since you said it that way. It does have that connotation. You're right. You know, like it's limiting me. A budget means I have to be limited. And really, what I share with my clients is, think about the budget as a tool that is helping you fulfill your dreams. Like it's telling you where you're at, and, you know, and where, you know, where you're at with money coming in and money going out. And only when you know that, especially the money going out piece, when you know where it's going, can you make different decisions. So your budget actually helps you
Right.
make, like, spend in alignment with where you want your life to go, or what your vision for your life is. So it's your best friend. You know, it really is something that's on your side. And it's a plan you make for your money. So it's not somebody else telling you what to do. You decide how you want to spend your money, and then you follow along with it. So I've been budgeting for, you know, maintaining a tracking sheet of money coming in, money going out every month since 2008. you know, when that happened. And really kind of saying, okay, so here's where we're at, and here's how we're going to survive at that point, and then thrive, you know, later in our lives. And you know, we save up for whatever it is that we want. But I think once you've decided, I want the Tesla Y, then you go at 4 p.m. that afternoon and go pick it up, like I am going to today.
Yes. Yeah. So you're going to pick up a Tesla today?
It's an exciting day. We're excited.
Awesome. Wow.
We booked it months ago, but today's the day that we get to pick it up.
Very nice.
But we planned for it, you know, in the beginning
Yes.
of the year. Said this is the year we need to switch out those cars, and you'll enjoy this. You know how we when we have affirmations, we say we want this or something better. You know, we always add or something better, because you know, in your limited understanding of what you want, you may, you know, may not realize there's something better out there for you. And so we had the Tesla Y, I mean, we had the Tesla X, or something better, and then the Y came around. It didn't exist when we were putting our vision board up. So
Right.
it's a fun anecdote. But yes, I mean, I guess it
Well,
all ties into wealth, right?
yes. Well, that's amazing. And I love how, you know, I mean, the basic principle here is, what do you want? And are your actions in alignment with it? And it goes for dieting, it goes for budgeting, it goes for, you know, your vision board and meeting your goals, all of it. It just like, what do you want? And is what you're doing right now in alignment with that? So
And are you focusing on that? Exactly. I think a third piece of that is, are you focusing on what you want? Because it's so easy, even when you've created a want list or made a vision board, to focus on the fact that you don't have it, or the fact that you haven't yet got it. So what you focus on is actually the biggest piece. If you focus on the fact that it's coming, that it's on its way, that it's where you're going, it's your destination. If your focus is on receiving, then you receive. If your focus is on lack, then you don't. And so really it's also about, and that's, I guess, the point of this success principle also is, you get what you focus on. So it's not always you get what you want, you get what you believe you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, what you focus on.
Well, I think that's the best way to really describe it, is you get what you believe you will get.
Yeah.
That's the way.
But what you truly, you know, what you coming back to what we were saying in the beginning, what you deserve, what you think you deserve.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I also know, you know, with some of the brain science about this stuff, you know, like whatever your brain hears over and over again, it starts to build like a super highway in your brain, so that the synapse doesn't have to jump anymore to make that thought happen. It just automatically goes through. So if you hear something over and over again, it creates a neural pathway in your brain, and these limiting beliefs about money have become programmed into our brain. You know, I mean, we hear, it's part of our culture. Oh, money's the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees. You know, I mean, all these things are like part of the culture, you know? Right. So, so it's interesting that, you know, I don't know. I forgot what I was saying.
No, I remember. But basically what you're thinking or what you're hearing a lot, as you were saying, becomes a belief. And beliefs are basically that. Whatever you keep thinking over and over again becomes a belief.
Right.
And the good thing about that is it's a habit, right? And the good thing about a habit is that you can break it and you can make new habits. And so you literally want to override those beliefs you have about money that are limiting you or blocking you, and replace them with abundance beliefs. You know, I deserve to have all of the money that I want. I do great things with my money. You know, those kinds of things, which kind of address the why behind why you want the money. And because your yearning for money is basically you know, something saying you deserve more. Like, you know that you deserve more, therefore you yearn for it. And so accept that as you know, a reality for yourself. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, is you can you can acknowledge that those kinds of negative emotions and thoughts about money have been programmed in just by repetition, whether you did it on purpose or you just heard it in the culture or in your family. But the good news is you can reprogram your brain by just repeating other thoughts, like you're saying, like those positive thoughts about money. So
do you find how we always go back to success principle number one?
Exactly.
You are responsible for your results and
exactly.
and you know, so, and your life. And so, you know, even if all of your life you've heard one way of thinking about money, which is the event in your life, you have the power to change your response to get the outcome that you want. And so this is a classic example of how you decide that you want to have a different outcome. And so therefore you decide to change your response. You change your belief in this case.
Different
Always
input,
boils down to number one.
different output. Yes, it does. So, so do you have any tips for how people can budget? Like, do you have any good budget tips?
I have an entire workshop about it.
Some quick ones.
Yes. I think the very first thing actually is, when we're approaching the end of the year, this is a great time to look at the last 10 months and see where have I spent my money. So, you know, you go into your bank account, you get something like Mint or Personal Capital, which, you know, are these programs that kind of all of your bank accounts are kind of collated for you and put it in one report so that you don't have to, you know, especially if you have 10 different accounts, you don't have to drive yourself crazy. And just basically get an understanding of where have I spent my money in the last 10 months and categorize it: housing, food, you know, if you have children, their expenses, health, you know, all of the different areas of our life. And then just see, you know, if you're spending a huge amount of money on eating out, for example, and so you can just actually just, I mean, and there's no judgment there. It's just a decision. Is that where I want to spend my money? And if it is, great. And if you're feeling like it's too much and you're not able to save up money, or you're not able to, you know, be able to buy that thing that you wanted to buy, the car that you need, or, you know, the better health insurance, whatever it may be, then you can make a conscious decision to say, hey, I'm going to start spending less here. I'm going to eat out 2 times less a week and put those funds towards this, which is actually more important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So the only way you can do that is if you've done your homework and you know where you spend your money. So 10 months into the year is a great time. It gives you almost a year's worth of information. Download, you know, that you go to your bank accounts or go and, you know, download something like QuickBooks and see, just to get an idea. And it'll do the math for you, right? Which is the great thing about these tools. And you just get a sense of, this is where my money is going. Also with your income, this is how much I earn. It's not how much I, you know, especially for people who are in business, who don't have a regular paycheck. For the people who receive regular paychecks, it's very easy. But just for, you know, in your business, how much, like, am I meeting those goals, or am I making as much as I think I'm making? You know, basically. And then again, that helps us in making decisions about how we spend our money, how we find other resources, other avenues to make more money. I always say you always want to have a couple of side gigs that you're leaning into and kind of trying and testing out, because you want to have multiple sources of income. So that would be the first thing, is know where you're spending your money. And the second piece is then make astute decisions on how you want to spend your money. So, you know, you have the next 2 months to figure that out. And then starting January 1st, you decide, this is my budget and this is how I'm going to spend my money. And you check in every month. You know, on the first of every month, I look back at the month before and look at how did I do? And if you're just starting off, do that on the 15th and then on the 31st, so that it's not just at the end of the month that you realize, oops, did it again. But, you know, you catch yourself on the 15th and say, oh, okay, I'm going over budget here. I want to catch myself and change that habit.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, do you have any other tips about how people can get what they focus on? And do you have any other tips before we end here? Because those are all great so far.
I love your questions. Let's see. I'll end with this. And we kind of talked about this in the last one as well. Money is energy. Money isn't a good thing or bad thing. It's what you do with it that makes it good or bad. So money is just energy. You decide how much you want to receive, and you decide how you're going to spend it. So just get in harmony with the amount that you want to attract, and get in harmony with how you want to spend it, or what you want to manifest with those, with that abundance. So it's really about getting onto the frequency of where you want to be, instead of being stuck in where you are or where you feel there are those blocks.
Yeah. And so for people who, that's really great. But for people who aren't that familiar with the frequency, can you explain what that means in different words?
Yes. So everything, the law of attraction, a lot of people have heard about. But the law of attraction is actually a secondary law. The primary law is a law of vibration, which is basically a scientific law that says everything vibrates, everything is energy. The table, the chair, your body, but also your thoughts, also your feelings, your mindset is a frequency. And so to explain that further, think about anger, and you can start feeling something in your body. That's a frequency. Mm-hmm. Think about the word generosity or calm, and immediately you can see that it has a different frequency, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by frequency. Whatever you're focused on, whatever frequency you're on. So if you're constantly thinking, I'm in debt, I don't have enough money to pay off my bills, it's always so hard to earn money. And if you're on that frequency of anxiety, then you're stuck on that rung of the ladder, let's just say, and you can't move out of it. But even if you're in the same circumstance, but your focus is on, I'm getting out of debt, financial freedom, I'm going to be able to release this anxiety and experience calm or experience gratitude. If you get onto those frequencies and you're just in your thought patterns, then the universe can't help but match that. So something has to happen for you to continue to experience that. It's just, again, as Albert Einstein said, it's not philosophy, it's physics. Whichever vibrational frequency you're at, that's what you experience. That's what you get. So change your mindset and it changes your life. And we can say that with confirmation, right? Because we've experienced it over and over again in our lives, right, Jennifer?
Right. Well, it goes right back to principle number 1, take full responsibility for yourself. It always goes back to that. Because, and so for people not super familiar with it, if you walk up to somebody who's really kind of angry or kind of in this kind of emotional state, you can kind of feel it from them. You can kind of like feel if they just don't like you and they walk into the room, you can just feel like life leave the room, right? So that this is kind of how we experience this vibrational, phenomenon is like, you can feel it. Like, it's kind of, you sense it, you kind of know, you're just like, I don't think they like me. You just get it, right? You just can feel it. And
you down.
Yes.
And so also we talk about the company you keep and such, but that, your vibration of course affects people around you as well. And you are affected by other people's vibrations. So, but you have complete power and responsibility to be able to protect yourself, of course, from others, as well as manifest your own vibration of abundance, gratitude, love, happiness. And so where you put your focus, whichever seed you plant, that's what you're going to grow. And so keep that analogy alive for you. What am I planting?
Yes. Well, and on the flip side, when you're with somebody who's just super, like, they're like your cheerleader, they love you so much, and they just think everything you do is rock star material, right. Then you just feel like unstoppable. You just feel like, yes, I can do it,
Yeah.
And so this is what we're talking about, is you really want to, have the kind of relationship with money that like you feel comfortable when you have money, you know, because some people don't have that, or else they would have it, you know.
And it's
And so it's
subconscious.
right.
It's not like you're
It's,
choosing not to want money. You just don't realize that if you
exactly.
have these beliefs around money, you're actually blocking it.
Right.
When you release them, then, or when you realize them, then you can come from a different place.
Yeah, because if you don't do that, it's like that relationship with that person who, you know, is angry all the time or something, you know, it's just like you just feel that like it's like that in your relationship with money if you don't have a positive, you know, EQ, money EQ.
Yeah. I mean, just think about it, right? You can't, I mean, just in, it doesn't have to get into the philosophy or the physics even of it, but just in just your experience, if you're in a contracted state, it's very hard to have an expansive thought or an expansive experience. So you can't have it both ways. You have to be like, both have to be in the same place. So you can't have expansive results. I want all of this money if you're coming from a contracted state of I don't deserve anything. You
Yes,
have to be in that place of I deserve all of this, then you receive it.
exactly.
So you
Yes.
have, you this quote I love about, the ocean of abundance is, is right there. Are you going to go with a teaspoon, with a cup, or with like a boat? Like what, because you can take as much as you want. But it's again goes back to your own self-worth. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Um, Well, always really great tips, really great information. I really appreciate you being here
I love
and
having these
sharing all of
conversations
this
with
with
you.
us.
Thank you.
Yes, you're so awesome. So I will put Pari's name in. I'll put her Facebook name in there so you can click on her name and you'll be able to contact her from there if you want to take her budgeting workshop. And she'll be
Thanks.
back again next week, or she'll be back regularly to keep going on these financial principles. And so we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you next time. Be sure to like, share, and put your comments below if you have any questions, or tell us your takeaways or anything like that. So thank you for being here, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.